Okie dokie, time for a weekly outlook. I know it's a bit late. There's a lot of stuff going on this weekend with family. But it was all fun. So, just start. I think we usually start from the higher time frame. In the higher time frame, not much has changed since where we ended up last week. We essentially ended up one time framing up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We ended that one time framing up on the daily. Weekly's now in balance. And now we're in a 5 day balance, right? Because we took out these last two lows. I believe it's the same on ES and NQ. This one approached this session's lows. So 5 day balance in ES and NQ, right? On the daily, they might look similar. In terms of where buyers, sellers got involved, they look a little bit different. Um, so we typically start on the higher time frame on both of these, but all these other levels remain the same because we've seen them in the past, right? And there's really not much, that we'll get down into when we go to the TPO. But on the hard time frame, really not much has changed. We're back within the upper distribution, at least of the year to date profile. Um, good sign for buyers, but Thursday was sort of that real first sign of a sell, and you put in a control bar, right? A pretty gnarly one. When you see these kinds of candles, it becomes a little tough, right? You essentially all you really want to do is just watch the high and whether that gets taken out or if the lows get taken out and if you get follow through, right? I mean, the last couple times we've seen it. Here we have one here. Here we have one here. Maybe you can consider this one, right? We have one up here, right? One here, and it's sometimes you get a couple days of follow through. You get like an inside day. That's typically what you get. That's what we got on Friday. But that strength needs to, on that inside day break, that strength cannot be faded if you're a bull. Right, a couple of these times in the past, you've seen the inside day breaks fail. This one you took out the high just barely and failed. This one you took out the high. You closed higher, looked good, but then following session, right? Um, so we really, really need to focus on Friday's inside day, right? And that I think that's gonna be the focus for the week, really. Right, Friday's session was pretty decent recovery, a little bit better on ES, but ultimately they both ended up in an inside day. So when we get an inside day, inside week, whatever it may be, we just watch the highs and lows and ensure that the breakout, or if there is a break, that needs to get some follow through. You can see that with volume or time spent above trading, that price, or you could, ensure that retests up against it are bid in case of a breakout, or you get some reoffers on a retest if you get the breakdown. Um, there's a couple places you can get involved in trade, only based off of, a couple levels we saw Friday, but I think the easier trade here is just going to be to wait for the highs or lows to break. And what I mentioned earlier about ES and NQ being a little different, you see on ES's profile, obviously if we include these two sessions, it's going to look a little different. But last week's profile essentially gave us one big distribution on ES here, right? And we have this higher time frame level or higher time frame shelf from the composite at 44, which has been here for a while now. But last week sort of just enforced it, right? That was sort of the upper end of this main distribution here, and the lower end down here. So the idea is you can look to be bid 44s. The overnight low was sort of situated around there, but I sort of missed that trade already. It's a Sunday. I usually don't trade. Better to just wait for the inside day highs to break, and go at this point for me. Maybe get another test of it RTH, which you ideally as a bull you'd want to be bid, but to me, I don't think it's worth getting involved. That's just my take on it. Right, I want to keep tomorrow simple. Right, it's 44. There's really nothing there, at least in Friday's profile. There's more so the uppermost shelf from Friday sits at 454, lower end sort of sits at 35, right? On maybe you can call this a double distribution day. But just some levels for you guys at scalp, or look to try to get into trades a little earlier and whatnot. But my main focus is just going to be inside day high, right? Whether it plays out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is, I think that's going to be the focus for this week. On NQ, that little distribution is a little different, right? We have our value built here and here. And that's, I know, these levels were here into Friday, and we kind of, played this pretty darn well. We really just focused on the shelf here for the lower end, but, we're essentially rotational. We kind of just got selling where we expected it, right? As he traded up into here and up into 760s. And I think, no, it was more so 800 that we were watching. Got some offers there. Essentially just flushed it like 150 points in like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right down to where we expected buying to come in. So I'm not going to expect that same trade to play out. I think we just wait for the inside day high, inside day low to break, right? If you want to look for an earlier trade, all I really got is 760. Maybe you pay attention to these later period highs here. But I am okay with waiting till 910, or just waiting to see if ES breaks, only because that's a little bit closer to breaking. So, that's gonna be my plan for Monday, Tuesday, whatever it may be. ES wants to get over now, but we'll see what happens to it when it wakes up. So, just to recap, these breakdown bars, these control bars, we really, and then the inside days that follow them, we really need to keep an eye on these highs, right? The inside day highs, or these balance high, or this control bar high, right? Which we just call balance high. So that'll be our main focus. I still want to take it day to day. I mean, I don't know if you want to be initiating longer term longs up here. Who knows? I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't. That's just where I'm at. The Russell got a big pop off of your what was it? Jackson Hole on Friday kind of just broke out of their little range and essentially trading back at highs, or trying to, right? So good look for them. I would like to see where's the shelf here? Yeah, line in the sand still the same. Basically, let's just call it 2200. And ideally want to get some acceptance back into this upper distribution, right? You had sessions, a lot of sessions trade up into here, just never really found any kind of acceptance. When we did, it was up here, and it wasn't didn't last too long, right? So we'll see if this move continues to be sustained. Obviously the strongest on Friday, so I'm paying extremely close attention to XPI and your regionals. I'm already positioned long in them, well, from a long time ago, but I haven't cut any of the position, which is probably bad of me. I've been in since October 30. I put it in a weekly video, right? The first time I ever mentioned LabVIEW, I just said I was gonna buy Monday open, and I just happened to be the low, right? Maybe it's luck. I think it's luck at that point, but that being said, we'll watch this, not the leverage index, but you got a couple of highs up here, right? You have some value being built up here. It's just these moves above just cannot be sustained, so we'll see if this time it's a little different. Maybe your third, fourth time is the charm. I'll be willing to play some short-dated options alongside some longer dated options on a move above, and then some bids if we see 102 sold. So I think that's going to be at least my equity play of the week. I already have the equity from much lower, and DPST and KRE from much lower. So I don't know if I'm going to be touching those shares themselves. You got NVIDIA earnings. Kind of just trading range bound. We'll just have to see what comes Wednesday. I'm not going to try to predict earnings. But that's really about all I'm watching, right? Ideally things that are going to move. So not really willing to get involved with any other names. I know we're still long TLT. We made it, I mean, we trimmed light. You know, we bought it on this session low, I believe during one of the bad bond auctions. And got a trim off, I believe Tuesday. I don't have any of my treasury longs anymore. I wish I kind of still held those, but we may be overstaying our welcome here. But I'd be willing to hold runners on TLT. We got till what, next September 30 or September 20 on these. So we'll definitely hold a couple runners into that. But other than that, I don't know if I'm watching anything else specifically. Nothing specifically other than biotech, regional banks, and then ESNQ every, after every session, and trading it intraday. I think that's really about it. Dollar, are we gonna try to make a? We're gonna try to put in a bottom here shortly. Maybe you're down towards your last couple of lows. So maybe we should be paying attention to this soon. But, I say these are weekly outlooks, but I end up saying we just take these day to day and see where it takes us. Right, but just plan inside day high and the most recent pivot high we've seen. All right, it's going to be the most important levels to watch, not just for Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe the rest of the week. Okay. Just from the past couple of examples we've seen from these gnarly down days that you just get out of the blue. All right, you just get these this year. You've had these days, these big down days, and you end up just getting an inside day, like following them. There aren't too many times you get follow through, right? Yeah, obviously there are a couple times, and it's typically on macro stuff, right, that we react to. But for the most part this year, your big breakdowns, at least the initial one, has been followed up by an inside day, and then it's up to what they do shortly after that, right? And for now, it's been not the greatest for bulls, right? Even though you put the inside day in right after, you get a little bit cheerful, a little bit excited. We just need to see if the highs break and if we get some follow through. So that'll be the key for this week. So just keep those levels marked on your chart. Just keep them on the chart and just watch them day to day. However you confirm, what should we call it? However you want to confirm your trades or your entries, I prefer just watching volume or watching the footprint, watching the DOM to do that. But, everyone's got their own little execution tricks. So, but levels will always be levels. So just pay attention to them. Just know where they are, know which ones are the right ones or the important ones to pay attention to, and stick to your plan, right? I'm a bull, I'm a perma bull, I only play upside. So, well, I do short very, very occasionally, I'd be willing to short if we get an inside day break and fail, right? Whether it's happens Monday or whether we fail it Tuesday. In that case, I'd be willing to play it short. But if we're breaking out, I'm gonna look for to be long, right? I'm not gonna try to fade it, right? And I say I'm willing to be short, but I need it to fail. Essentially, just look above and fail, right? So, and you know, at that point, I'm not initiating my short until we break back below, right? Or break back below some kind of structure, right? Whether it's a shelf or some value we've built. We're gonna break. I'm just gonna be long. Maybe we look for the first break. Maybe we look to long on the retest here. Or maybe I just see some imbalances and I just keep adding to the position or just stay long. But we'll see what happens. But we've sort of got something planned out. Maybe our ideal trades planned out. I know where I'm not going to be trading is within this range. Although there are places for you guys that want to scalp and put on some trades. You know, I prefer just trying to find that one easy trade or two easy trades a day. And you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I try to keep the loss small and let it go. Just call it a day, right? So I think that's about it. So hopefully you guys have a great week, and yeah, just keep that plan in the back of your mind. I know I make a different one every day, but I think this week you're just pay attention to that inside day high and balance high, or control bar high, whatever you want to call that.